everyone, and welcome back to my new real estate agent manual. This is episode 4 out of 10. So glad you are here. This episode is all about choosing your right real estate brokerage. I'm going to walk you through all the steps so you feel confident in choosing that right brokerage. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to talk about the different types of brokerages. There's the traditional and then there's cloud based. Let's talk about cloud based first. I'm sure you've heard of both. Cloud based companies such as EXP and Real, it's a virtual office, so there's no brick and mortar, there's no meeting place, there's no desk fees because there's no desks. There's typically a deduction in other fees as well because you're not having to pay for the infrastructure. There could be lower commission splits because of that as well. All trainings can be accessed from anywhere with Wi-Fi, which is great, especially if you are one to travel a lot. There's a virtual community, and I've heard of local communities as well, depending on the size of your brokerage. And you could also receive revenue or profit shares. So basically, that's you as an agent recruiting other agents to grow the real estate brokerage. And as a result, you get compensated, you get a piece of the agent's profit. So let's talk about traditional real estate brokerages. Those actually have brick and mortar offices for agents to meet, to do their training, to do mentorship. So you're meeting person to person, face to face. There's also that face to face support, accountability. There's typically in house marketing. So you can go directly to the marketing department and bounce ideas off of each other. There's a meeting place for clients. So if you're meeting your clients instead of meeting at a coffee shop, you can invite them to the office to meet. There are desk fees because you're paying for a desk or an office. And typically there are higher splits just because you're having to pay for that infrastructure that's already in place. My recommendation, especially if you are a newer agent, is maybe consider the traditional real estate brokerage in the beginning, just because you have more of that person to person contact and support that you will need in the beginning. Okay, let's talk about the splits and caps. You will definitely want to ask your brokerage what your split is, meaning how much of the commission check will you get to keep and how much do they keep. This will depend on where you're at in terms of experience. If you have a mentor, typically you have a higher split because you're in that split, you're paying for the mentor. Again, you want to ask your brokerage how the splits work for newer agents. And then how many transactions do you have to do, or at what point do you get to go to the next tier of commission splits? So I've heard of different brokerages offering new real estate agents a anywhere from a 60-40 split to a 75-25, meaning if you're on a 60-40 split, which is how I started, you will keep 60% of the commission check and then the brokerage will keep 40%. And so you definitely want to ask, when will you be able to go to that next tier? And what is the next tier? Is it going to be 75-25? Will you be able to go to 80-20? It just depends on how the brokerage has set up the splits. Another thing you will want to ask is, what is the maximum amount of commission that you will pay your brokerage each year? And that's called the cap. Some brokerages actually don't have caps, so you will have to continue paying them no matter how much commission you pay them per year. Some will have a cap of, let's just say, 17,000 to 25,000. So once you're done meeting that cap, giving them that amount of commission, then you will get to keep 100% of your commission. So you'll definitely want to have that conversation as well. And then what exactly is the highest split that you can get each year? Some brokerages will only give you 85-15, some will do the 90-10. And again, like I said, some, once you reach that cap, you'll get to keep 100%, deducting any fees that are accrued as well. Okay, so fees. What exactly are different fees? You will owe some fees. It could be a desk fee because you're having a desk in the office or an actual office in the office. There could be E&O insurance fees, so that's errors and omission. There could be transaction coordinator fees, administration fees. There's a lot of different fees that the brokerage could charge you. So you'll want to ask those, what are those upfront? Will it be deducted prior to the split being applied, or after the split is applied? So you'll want to ask, when will those fees be deducted in your commission check? Is it before or after the commission split is applied? And will the fees ever increase or decrease per year? You want to ask if they ever fluctuate, just so you can be prepared. Okay, another important thing to consider when joining a real estate brokerage is culture. Definitely, this is so important. Each brokerage has their own brand, their own culture, their own vibe, their own expertise. Some have their expertise in luxury, upscale properties and clientele. So you'll want to know that if you are not wanting to get into that area of real estate, you'll want to know that before. So you need to do your research, ask other agents what their advice is. What the culture is in the office, if you know agents at specific offices, and make sure, like I said, you just do your research, do the research prior to even interviewing the brokerage, because of course they're going to want to tell you, you know, sometimes what you want to hear in regards to culture because they want to recruit you to be part of their team. But it's best to do your own due diligence before so you know what you're walking into for the interview, and make sure that you can find a brokerage that aligns with your mission and vision and just where you see yourself fitting in the best. And you might get more of a feel of that as you go to the interview as well. And you do a tour of the office, of agents. If there's not a lot of agents in the office, or there are, and they're not talking with each other, then you might get a feel that, oh, it's not as collaborative as you would like it to be. So just go in with that mindset that you're trying to find a place where you can see yourself fitting in the best. Okay, and you'll want to ask what the brokerage offerings are. What do they offer you as a new agent? Do they offer marketing support? Is there in house marketing? If there's not, what kind of marketing do they help you with? Will there be office support? Is there a office receptionist? Is there someone answering calls and giving you leads? Is there a transaction coordinator? So it's someone helping you with the paperwork of the transaction, or will you have to find that person on your own? Is there printers at the office? Is there printing available? Do you get a stipend for printing? Are there trainings? And if there are trainings, how often are they? And are they in person, online? You'll want to know that information just so you get a feel of what the office, if they value training, and if what kind of trainings do they offer you as well. If it's all online, then you have to know that that's how you're going to be learning, is all online. And if you don't learn best that way, then maybe you should consider interviewing another office that offers more in person, hands on training. And then, of course, this is really important in the beginning as well. And I didn't know this, but you'll need someone who you can always reach out to, even if your office manager is your point of contact or your mentor. Is there somebody else that you could reach out to just in case they are not available? Because sometimes you have offer deadlines and it could be 6 a.m. the next morning and you're working on the offer at midnight. Is there someone that you could reach out to even at that hour in case you need somebody? Just good to know, and something I wish that I would have asked. Okay, another really important thing as a new real estate agent is mentorship. What kind of mentorship do they offer new real estate agents? You want to ask that. Is it virtual, in person? Do you have a choice of your mentor? And what happens if it's not a good fit? Like for me, I didn't have a choice, but thankfully it was a great fit. We got along really well. She had me shadow her and a lot of different areas of real estate where she was doing like the showings, the transaction, the paperwork. So I was able to really get a feel for what it takes to be a real estate agent. So you'll want to ask that if it's not a good fit, what are the next steps? And if you don't feel like the mentor is benefiting your growth, what are the next steps after that as well? So you really have that conversation before, because you don't want to be stuck with somebody that isn't a good fit and you don't learn as much as you could have with somebody else. Who else am I able to speak with if I have questions outside of your mentor? I already kind of addressed that. But yeah, if your mentor isn't available, is there somebody else that you can contact for questions? And how it's just good to know this up front. How is your mentor getting paid? Is it out of your commission? Are they on a salary for the office? Like, how exactly does that work? Just so you know as well. Okay, and again, just remember this is super important that you are the one in control when you are interviewing the real estate brokerage. Sometimes you can feel like they're interviewing you, which they are, to see if you are a good fit. But really, at the end of the day, you get to choose what real estate brokerage you join. A lot of brokerages are out there recruiting as many agents as possible. So just know that sometimes Your best interest is not in their mind. They're looking at numbers. So just go in there knowing that you get to choose what brokerage that you feel like the best fit is for you. So go with a set of questions. I have a set of questions that I've already prepared. If you would like that list, you can download the freebie. It'll be linked below, and it's just a list of really important questions that you should be asking whoever's interviewing you at the brokerage, just so you can compare your notes at the end of the day. And I would recommend interviewing at least 3 brokerages, just so you kind of get a feel for a few different ones, and you can compare the interview notes afterwards and choose the best fit for you. And again, I would ask different real estate agents, and if you're part of Facebook groups or if you know real estate agents in the area, I would ask them for their recommendations as well in regards to what brokerage might be a good fit for you. Okay. And again, if you have any questions about joining a real estate brokerage or anything that I have covered in this episode, please feel free to contact me. Here's my information below. I'm always available. And until then, I'll see you in episode 5. Thank you.